Hello everybody and welcome to Trucker Money number 47. If you are new to this, let me reintroduce this because it's been a while since I've done it. Used to do this every Friday, going to try to get back to doing it because I like to do it regardless if anybody likes to hear it or not. Imagine this scenario. It's 2021. You are knocking heads off on freight rates as a company driver, as an owner operator. You might be making more money than you made in your entire life. Now, let me ask you this. After you set some money aside to give Uncle Sam his cut, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to do something that's going to change the trajectory of the rest of your life? Or are you going to miss the opportunity? Because let's face it, this might be more money than most of us have ever made in our entire lives. It was a good year, honestly. I think everybody probably agrees with that. So what do we do here is we talk about money. Things non-trucking related. We talk trucking all week long. Friday, let's talk about something else, and we all deal with money. This is just merely my opinion. It is not financial advice. It is a free exchange of ideas. None of them are wrong. Everybody makes their own decision. And I share my personal journey of what I do in hopes that it motivates or inspires somebody else to kind of get out, maybe make that first step in towards doing something in their life financially to set themselves up real nice. Or maybe you're young and just getting started, or maybe you're older and starting late. Hey, we talk about all of that. So there's different types of investing, right? Some people invest for growth. Some people invest for preservation of capital. I invest for income. So that's what I talk about. That's my favorite thing to talk about. First, I start off with any side income my favorite kind of income is passive income, incidentally, which is income where you kind of do some work up front, and then that work up front continues to pay you over a period of time when you're not even maybe paying attention to it. Love that kind of income. Do a little bit of it, and like to talk about it. Also, we're going to talk about any raises we got in that, any investments I might have made for the week, anybody that paid me, anything I might have sold, and then generally just some news or any different things that happen. And later on, we're going to talk about the 2021 year in review and what might be coming up for 2022 that I damn sure want a piece of. So let's get started. All right, I'm not gonna go all the way back to the last one I did. That was months ago. Let's go back a couple weeks here of what happened here. For me, this is January 7th of 2022. By the way, welcome to the new year. How many of you made New Year's resolution to maybe change your finances a little bit? Maybe this is a good first step. I don't know. If nothing else, hopefully it makes you think. So for this week, I do have a couple of sources of passive income outside of trucking, and this is one of them. YouTube. Don't make much. We don't make just trucking kind of money here. That's for darn sure. But a few dollars, and maybe over time it grows. I don't know. So a little bit of money from YouTube. A couple things I promote. MUDFLAP. Obviously, whenever you fuel for the first time, you get $10 in free fuel, and I get $10 credit in my account. And that can only be spent on fuel. So is it income? I don't know. It's spendable on fuel. Grows over time too, I guess. And then I promote FuelOx. Small amount from that. I pretty much just, whenever I get any credit built up there, I kind of invest it back and buy more product for myself because I love the product. It's kind of what I do there. And then I also invest in residential rental real estate. So had a rent check come in for this week there. Let's see, after that, my favorite source of passive income is dividend paying stocks and dividend paying investments. I love investments that pay me for nothing more than being a loyal shareholder. It is one of my favorite things. And I've put all that to the side since beginning to middle of 2021 because I've been focused on growing my business. And I took this is part of the reason I haven't really done these videos, put the whole investing thing to the side and just let it do its own thing for a while I was more focused on building the business. And now kind of getting control of that a little bit, getting caught up and getting some systems down. So I have time to start looking at the passive income portfolio again. And while I was away, it did exactly what I designed it to do. It just kept growing income, right? Now, incidentally, if you're new here, I accidentally, unintentionally, set up a dividend portfolio that pays me every week of the year. Did not intend for that to happen. It just happened by the ones that I chose. So that's kind of interesting. I kind of like that. So in retirement, I'll have an income source every week if I choose to draw off it. So let's go back a couple weeks. Only got one dividend increase, and that was Viatris, ticker symbol VTRS. Now, Viatris was a stock I got for free. It was a Pfizer spinoff, pharmaceutical spinoff, and they didn't pay a dividend right away. They started paying a dividend, and they just raised it 9%. So not only was it free, we just got a hefty dividend increase from Viatris. So thumbs up to that. That was great. That's the only dividend increase. No dividend cuts. We do not experience those too often. Based on the investments that I've made, I prefer to be in. Probably we would say I invest like a 72-year-old man. Dividend aristocrats, companies that have been around a very long time, have a very long track record of increasing dividends for a very long time. It's just my style. Yours may be different. That's cool. What did I buy this in the last couple of weeks? I only put a little bit of new money in, and I bought some Southern Company, which is a utility, and I bought a little bit of Prudential. We all know who that is. Not because these two companies were cheap, just trying to build them up to a more sizable portion in the portfolio. And who paid me in the last couple of weeks? Usually I just say in the last week, but we're way behind here. Kimberly-Clark, the paper company, paper goods and consumer goods company, paid. UGI, which is a gas utility, they paid. And LTC, which is a real estate investment trust that holds long-term care facilities for properties. And incidentally, they pay every month. They are a monthly payer. Most of these are a quarterly payer. So you'll hear that name once a month. Now, 2021 was an interesting year. It was a good year. It was a good year for us. We made good money in trucking. It was a good year for investing. So, overall, the markets for the year, the NASDAQ was up 21.4%. The Dow Jones was up 18.7%. S&P was up like 26.9%. So even if you hold just ETFs or index funds, you did well. And incidentally, I do own majority of my money is in mutual funds, ETFs, index funds. Just don't talk about them much because there's nothing really to talk about. You put money in and that's it. You just leave it alone. A lot of them don't pay really any meaningful distribution or dividends. So it doesn't really meet the criteria of much to talk about. I'm trying to build this source of income through dividends, and it is really great. If you want to learn more about why I do that, go back and watch some of the earlier ones. In particular, watch the Trucker Money. I don't remember what number it is, but I talk about yield on cost and why dividend. Another one is like why dividends versus growth. There's thumbnails of me drawing a little tree on the whiteboard. That one's pretty interesting too. That is if you want to learn more about why I do it this way. Let's see here. So also for the year 2021, while I was building the business, like I said, I put this aside and some things happened while I wasn't paying attention that are pretty cool. They're kind of why I do this. So we got 3 other spinoffs. Okay, ticker symbol O, Realty Income, spun off a company called Orion. Orion is primarily single-tenant office buildings. That's the division they spun off, which is not what I want to be in. So I just sold that company. I didn't even do any homework on it. I'm like, that's not what I want. It's gone. And I took that money and put it right back into Realty Income where I wanted it in the first place, and that was done. IBM had a spinoff of Kyndryl. I think it's ticker symbol KD, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know a lot about tech. I'm not a tech guy. I'm going to sell that Kyndryl. IBM is kind of the only pure tech stock that I own, and nothing against it. Not saying it's bad. It's just it's not in my wheelhouse. Okay, I know Apple would be a good company. There's several others. I own IBM for other reasons, which I think I've talked about in the past. So they spun off. Another one was Pfizer with the Viatris spinoff, like we talked about earlier. Though that happened way back. Can't remember the date on that. The only reason I put it on here is I don't remember if I talked about it when it happened. It could have been at the very beginning of 2021, and maybe I did talk about it. So those three spun off. We got some free stock this year in those companies, and oftentimes came with it some cash, which is pretty cool. Now for 2022, there's a couple very good things that are going to happen here, in my opinion, and I want a big piece of it. My two favorite dividend-paying companies of all time, Johnson & Johnson and 3M. Both of these companies are going to have a significant change in 2022, which in my opinion, they're good changes. They a lot of times when these things happen, they unlock value in the company, and the shareholders are well rewarded. So let's talk about Johnson & Johnson first. Johnson & Johnson in 2022 has announced that they are going to split the company. They're going to split it, and one half is going to be their consumer products like Band-Aids, like Tylenol, different things like that. And then on the other side is going to be pharmaceuticals and medical devices. So why are they doing this? In my opinion, well, there's several reasons, but one of them, to spread out liability. These giant companies are big targets for lawsuits, and this helps mitigate some of that. As well as then once they're split, they can more focus on what they do well. But I think that's the shareholders are gonna be well rewarded for that one. The other one, 3M, and either of these companies go back and forth to my 1 and 2. I think 3M is probably my favorite. Either of these companies have so many different product lines. It's like owning each one of them is almost like owning its own mutual fund. There's so many different product lines. 3M, interestingly enough, has been around for a very long time, and they have increased their dividend 64, last I checked, 64 consecutive years. Think back 64 years and everything that has happened. And 3M has increased their dividend every year through all of it. I can't say enough good things about that company. They are going to spin off their food safety division. I think it's going to be called Neogen. And then the shareholders will own both companies. 3M, I just want a piece of anything that they do. So yeah, some good things to look forward, and I'm increasing my positions in both of those companies leading up to it so that I can get a bigger piece of each company after they split. And I'm excited for that. Don't know when it's exactly the dates on when they're supposed to happen, but they've both been announced. So anyway, that's going to be enough for this week on Truck Your Money number 47. Kind of looking forward to doing this again every week. Hopefully I can continue it. And like I said, not financial advice, not telling you what to do, just sharing what I'm doing, my personal journey, and maybe you learn something along the way. And that's how we learn. Free exchange of ideas. So everybody take care, and we will see you next time.